Welcome to the Overland and Sea podcast. Today we are discussing the Brighton League Cup game. Andrew, we finally got a win. We finally scored a goal. We have a goal for our goal of the month competition. We don't need to use a training video. Although Mudryk did score an unbelievable goal in training. Talk to me about your thoughts on the result and the game.
Well, first things first, I think we should have had another one. I think Jackson's was chalked off. Second one was chalked off incorrectly. And I think Brozier was through on goal in a 1-on-1 and probably would have scored that as well. So it could have been a lot more comfortable than it ended up being if it wasn't for the linesman being a bit flag happy.
Yeah, well, that's why Poch got booked or something to do with the Brozier goal. And I have not seen the replay, but apparently it's
I can't find a replay. I've just seen a picture of it. I've been desperately trying to find a replay. Oh, I managed to find the full game the other day, actually, and I should have found that part of it. But yeah, apparently he was in his own half, which is what
was
I
it?
thought at the time. I was pretty sure he was in his own half, and he was in his own half, and that's why Poch got booked, because I think he was already upset about the Jackson one, and then like offside in your own half is just utterly ridiculous. You just can't be. So, yeah, I think the result could have been a little bit better, but it could have also been a lot worse. I think it was a similar performance to how we've been playing recently in the grand scheme of things. I think we gifted João Pedro an incredibly good chance through our own stupidity. There was no real press on it. Sanchez just passed him the ball.
We gave them a lot of good chances, to be fair, from distribution. I've got that written down as one of my
Yeah,
in the game.
and that was frustrating. But I think he scores that goal, and it's just a completely different game where
Oh yeah.
we have to really go at them. So it's one where there were positives in the fact that we scored and we took our chance, and it was probably our only really good chance of the game, other than the one that was then offside, and we took it. But again, we're just sort of gifting easy chances. And I think I think the whole stadium was just like, kick it long. And I definitely was. I was screaming, kick it long. Why are we pissing about with it? Just giving them so many good opportunities that they're not earning. We're just giving it to them by messing about. And there wasn't really any benefit to us from it, because the best situation that we ended up with was them having a throw in because Sanchez just kicked it out of play. And I was getting very frustrated, and Poch was encouraging them to do it more, and I was slightly concerned by that.
Why do you think that we were playing that way? Because the only thing that I've thought about that from previous conversations that we've had and we've both agreed was to get the away team, or well, just get the opposition team to press us more. And that was the only thing, just so we create maybe more space in other areas of the pitch, by bringing them forward. That was the only thing I could think of, but it didn't look like it worked. It didn't feel like it worked.
I think for me that is probably what we're trying to do. I personally don't understand why you do it from a goal kick, because the centre backs aren't going to move any further forward because they're on the halfway line. So all you're doing is potentially pulling the strikers slightly further forward to give your midfielders more of a chance. But their midfielders were on top of our midfielders, and it wasn't working. They weren't going to stop being on top of our midfielders. Nothing was really going to change. I think with Caicedo and Ugo Picles, just stick to Picles. I don't think we had the players that were really going to beat that press.
No, I agree.
So I think I'm trying to give Poch the benefit of the doubt and thinking, right, it's the Carabao Cup. It's a good opportunity to try what we want to get to in a game that, if we lose, it's not the end of the world. So that's what I'm hoping it was. I didn't like Sanchez rolling it out to a centre back, or the centre back rolling it to Sanchez for a goal,
Yeah, that
goal kick. it just doesn't seem right. I don't want it in the middle of the goal either. If we're going to piss about with it, I don't want it in the middle of the goal where they effectively, if they win it, just can shoot immediately.
It's not even that. If all they have to do is get a touch on the ball, and it's more
Yeah,
to roll in or deflect in.
yeah, and it just doesn't. It didn't feel right. It didn't look. It wasn't working.
It didn't look natural. Like Sanchez looked very uncomfortable to me during those
Yeah,
kinds of play.
he's not
Really,
that type of goalkeeper.
no, and I
He's a
think
shot
that's why he
stopper.
went down the pecking order at Brighton because people
Yeah,
said that he's not that football player. Having said that, he made some incredible saves, even when he messed up, or even when it wasn't anyone's fault. He did pull out some amazing saves again.
yeah, yeah. It's one of those where he has been a bit. He's been all right in every game because he's been exceptional in certain times and just dodgy in others. Um, I think a couple of definitely one of the saves he made when I watched it back. I can't remember. I think it was the one where Caicedo got pressed and for me fouled in the back and they won the ball and
Yeah,
ran through. Dizazi did a very good job of cutting across so that the striker could only shoot on that far side and gave Sanchez only one way. So Sanchez even dived a little bit early and went down early, but the striker had nowhere else to put the ball, so had to try and score. So I think that was good from Dizazi in terms of that's what you want from a defender is you can't eliminate all of the options, but if you eliminate one side of the goal, you've got the goalkeeper can focus on one side of the goal and it makes his life a hell of a lot
yeah,
easier. So I thought that was really good. But yeah, Sanchez isn't that goalkeeper, and we weren't playing the midfielders that would really flourish in that system.
agreed. Yeah,
Again, I'm not entirely sure that we've got the midfielders that beat the press like Kovacic used to do for us, and Jorginho in a completely different way, but was comfortable with the ball, with people pressing him, and he could shift it and get it away to someone else that was in space. I'm not sure that we've got that, and if we do, it's Enzo, who wasn't on the pitch at the time.
no,
I have high hopes for Lavia in that, in the more Kovacic style of being able to take the ball and take it round people. But I'm not sure. Yeah, that just wasn't really the game that day.
just quickly on the goalkeeper front, because I know you're very critical of Kepa. From what you've seen, just a very, very quick answer. Would you rather have Kepa or are you happy with Sanchez?
Difficult because they're both. I
I know. I said quick answer, and I know it's a difficult question. I just thought I'd
I at this moment in time think we need Sanchez more than we wanted Kepa. I think he's shown he has significantly more ability to come and claim balls in the box, which I think is more important for us at this minute than our goalkeeper being able to
yeah,
have good distribution. Because I don't really think that that's our problem. I think if we've got Brozier and Jackson up top, either one of
target
them,
men.
they can win a header. We don't have small people up front anymore.
No,
We have the option of going long if we want to. Um, and I think we've got better ball playing centre backs than we had probably last season in Colwill. I think Dizazi's got a decent long pass on him. So I don't think we necessarily need that from the goalkeeper as well. So probably surprised that we had one of the defenders giving it to the goalkeeper
yeah,
in that
I didn't get
situation.
that. I didn't get that.
I'm, I can only assume that it was bring the striker towards him and then shift it to one of the centre backs. But we're playing with fire in the wrong place to be playing with fire. We look more happy to risk something and lose the ball in our defensive third than we do in the offensive third, which doesn't sit right with me. All in all, it was a reasonable performance. I think we saw more from Madrid than we've seen in the rest of this season. I think he had a
Yeah,
pretty
and he
good
got a
game.
standing ovation which when you look at the replays of him going off, you could tell it meant a lot to him. A lot of people have posted that clip, and I think he deserves it. He is improving, and he I thought he was one of our standout performers on that day. I thought he played well.
Yeah, going on to that, I think Cole Palmer and him were our best players in the park that day. I think
He made such a
Cole Palmer
difference,
was
Cole Palmer.
exceptional.
Massive difference. I gave
Exceptional.
him man of the match. For me,
Yeah,
I gave him man
yeah,
of
he
the
was
match.
for me as well. He should have had 2 assists. And there was about a 20-minute spell in the second half where he was just everywhere, and he
Yeah,
got his assist as well. I think during that period, defensively very, very astute. Won the ball, galvanised the team a bit, and we got a goal, and he rightfully deserved the assist. So I think he has shown that number 10 position should be his,
100%.
and it's his to lose kind of thing. I'll be upset if Enzo starts in that position rather than sort of further back and has that free role in the pivot that we've been talking about, where he's slightly freer than the other midfielder that sits back.
Well, I think that is the next step, isn't it? It's then putting Cole Palmer in with Enzo and Caicedo, and that looks like a more balanced midfield to me. With Palmer, I just think like he looked really calm on the ball, good decision making, good weight of passing. He kept the defenders and the other midfield players guessing, and also I felt he kept a nice flow. Like he knew when to speed up and knew when to do a killer ball. Whereas I think we've lacked that in previous games. We've always been quite slow, and I think he ignited something in the team that day.
Yeah, and I sent you that video earlier of what's the
I'd
difference
seen it
between
before, actually. I had
Chelsea and
seen it
Man
before.
City,
Yeah.
and it was. And when he pointed out, you could see Cole Palmer was in the space, and everyone else was just up against their defender, and you're like, that just makes so much more sense that he's bringing players to him.
Yeah.
Someone's got to come to him, or someone's got to come out midfield to get him. Someone's got to pick him up, and there's an element of doubt of who should be picking him up in that area.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't think the other players are giving us, and it's been a problem that I think I've mentioned, but probably haven't because I'm not that good at football knowledge. Yeah, I think he's won me over big time. He is going to annoy me at times with his turning, because he likes turning back to goal and zipping around, but I'm just going to have to deal with that. But yeah, I think overall a good performance. I think Big Les struggled at times with the pace of the game, and it's going to take him a while to blood in fully to the Prem.
I've actually written down here on that. I actually wrote down that I thought he had a very good first half. I think he went missing in the second half. I think he actually had a better first half than Caicedo. And then in the second half, I mean, I remember you even turning around to me during the game and went, "He's gassed."
He looked knackered in the second half. I think he
Yeah.
just got caught on the ball a couple of times.
He also, I actually think he should have been sent off. I've not
he
seen
should
the
have been sent
replay. I've not seen the replay, but seeing that live, I was like, "Oh, fuck."
I think the second one was definitely a booking. I think what he got booked for was slightly harsh. Because effectively Matoma just ran into him. He couldn't move. He couldn't move out the way. So I think the first one was slightly harsh, but he should have been booked for the one he wasn't booked for.
Yeah, I mean, it was similar to. It looked worse than Gusto from where we were sitting when Gusto's challenge was, when he got that red card. I mean, he did look like he lunged in, almost dived in. To be fair, like I said, I need to see the replay, but I thought he was gone. I really thought he was gone, and I think if we had VAR that day, he probably would have gone.
But you can't review yellows. I don't think it. For me, it wasn't a straight red. I think he was very lucky to get away with not being booked again.
Well, Gusto's was originally a yellow until they did VAR, and then it went to a straight red.
Yeah, but if he hasn't given a red, if the VAR doesn't think it's a straight red, he can't review it. You don't review yellow card offences.
No,
so if he
I understand
it was a
that.
red and the bloke went and got a yellow, then fine.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying is just with the situation from where I was sitting, I thought he could have gone in for straight away just because of, we've seen it's just in the spotlight at the moment. When you see a player go in, and from the angle that we saw it at, I just thought there was a high chance that could be a red. And that's all. Like I said, I need to see the replay on that one, but thankfully it wasn't.
Yeah, fine. We got a bit of luck in that game finally, and I think, maybe with VR it's different, but
overall, do you think we should have won the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think João Pedro should have scored his chance, but one we scored and put the ball in the back of the net twice. One was incorrectly ruled out for offside, and Broja should have been one-on-one with the keeper. So I think we had enough good chances and we scored when they didn't. I think we at least deserved to win the game in the same way that other teams have deserved to beat us this season, in terms of took their chances, might not have had the most possession. I think it was a less dominant performance than we've had in other games.
Yeah.
But we took our chances. And I think, like we said with the Aston Villa game, when the other team plays a high line, we do have more of a chance. If they sit back, we find it very difficult to break teams down. And even for our goal, it was in most games this season, Cole Palmer would have been playing it through the legs of a midfielder, not one of the defenders.
Yeah.
And Jackson would have had still men to beat at that point. So I think that helped us, but it obviously meant that Brighton were more in the game because that was sort of their play style and wanted to sort of take the game to us as well. But I think on the balance of things, we were the better side and took our chances that we had. What did you think?
I think we were both surprised when we saw the team sheet come out, and there was a few guesses about formation and stuff until we really saw it live, actually how they were going to line up. I thought 2 holding midfielders was a surprise, but overall I think it was okay. I mean, like you said, it was an open game. They had chances. We actually took our chances. We were unlucky with some of the decisions that went against us with regards to offsides, etc. But there was definitely a bit more impetus about us, and a bit more creativity, a quicker pace, which is we've always said. We've said for the last few episodes, there's definitely another 2 gears that we could be going up into, with sort of the speed and the tempo of the way that we're playing. I think overall, it's just glad to get the win, get the result, and get a goal, and especially for Jackson to get a goal again. Just to kind of help him, keep him moving forward. But there were times where it could have gone. I think it could have gone either way. I think the important thing is just to remember the important thing is to focus on the win. It's a win, and it's a game that could have gone either way. And there's been games that we probably deserve to win and we haven't won. So I think we just need to take that and carry on moving forward. We've discussed the man of the match. We both agreed Cole Palmer. There's definitely a couple other names that I think that could have got it as well, but I think he was a standout player and a massive difference for us. Who was your worst performer then?
I don't think anyone was that bad. I think everyone did well at times. I don't think Sterling did a lot once he came on, but didn't have that many minutes. It's difficult to give him the worst player of the game.
He does slow the game down, though, just as you mentioned his name. He does slow that game down. I was so glad that he didn't start, because you can see the difference.
And I think
I felt sorry for Cucurella. I will say it. I felt sorry for Cucurella. He's not played in ages, and he's playing right back. And he did.
I
look
don't think he played badly though.
No, I don't
I
think
thought you might say him. I thought he had a pretty good performance. Bear in mind he's up against Matoma for most of the game, who's a very good player and will go past some of the better right backs in the league a couple of times in a game anyway. I felt like he had quite a good performance, and it would be harsh to give him a poor rating.
I just think he was a bit standoffish, hesitant, which is what we used to see with him at left back. And I put that down more to the fact he's not played in a while, and he's playing right back.
If
I don't think he did
anything,
I don't think he did anything wrong. You know, I don't think there was mistakes. There wasn't wayward passing or anything like that. You know, but not to get into it too much, it does create a question for the Fulham game because Chilwell is now injured with a hamstring injury. So the left back space is available, but we'll cover that in the next episode.
Yes. I think I'll give it to Sanchez. I know he made some good saves, but you can't lose the ball where he lost the ball. He got very lucky.
No, I agree. It happened too many times. Yeah, no, I agree on that. But it was even then, it's such a hard one giving that to Sanchez because he did do some great saves. It's such a weird one.
And he's just not set up. We didn't set up to play in a style that suited him, so he was a bit shafted, to be honest. But in terms of the actual performance and what he just lost the ball so often. He kicked the ball out so many times. He gifted it 10 yards to João Pedro, and he was quite lucky.
I think, do you know what? We needed a bit of luck. Not only did we get the goal, but the luck was on our side with regards to those chances because other teams would have punished us for that. Absolutely punished us. So, yeah, it's a bit harsh, but yeah, you can't give the ball away like that consistently. Anything else you want to mention about the Brighton League Cup game?
I think I'd like to see Brozier play for longer if he was fit, bearing in mind that he's got. Well, we don't have Jackson against Fulham, so I'd like to have given Brozier some more minutes to get some more match fitness.
Dad and I said that leaving the game, in the sense of I thought he would get a bit more, knowing that he is more likely going to start on Monday, but then maybe they just wanted to, I don't know, just keep him a little bit protected for that game.
Unless maybe it's just too early and he's not going to start, and we're just not
that,
going to risk him.
That leads a bigger question with regards to who plays up top and how we play on Monday, which we can definitely bring up in the Fulham pre-game analysis. But yeah, no, I agree. I'd love to see him get a few more minutes. But I thought he looked good. You know, he's quick. He put the keeper under pressure. So looking forward to him being back to full fitness.
Fingers crossed he actually makes it, because not all our players make it back to full fitness.
Well, he's done quite well so far in the sense that he's got minutes. He's come back. He's on the bench. He's actually been able to play. I don't want to jinx it. I'm leaving it at that. I don't.
You've already done it. You already jinxed it. As soon as you said he's done quite well so far, that's it. Broken leg.
No, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Cool. Well, with that, thank you all for watching the League Cup Brighton post analysis. Like, share, subscribe, comment, notification button, follow, and stay tuned for the pre-Fulham game analysis.